Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I'm back. I am back. How's the song go? Look who's back, back again. So it was supposed to be a couple of days off, turned out to be a week off. We did get to do a really cool members live on Friday. Um, Hopefully you caught it on the replay or you were there. It was a lot of fun as usual. Love our members' lives. Let's see who's in here. Mama Kay, good morning. Ooly Girl, good morning. There's Wolf Cat, Aggie. There's our friend Aggie, preschool granny, Jules. If it wasn't for Discord and you guys emailing me and stuff, I wouldn't have known anything that was going on. There's my friend Chris Melcher, Katie Bird. See, I'm trying to scroll with this stupid mouse. Anna D, good morning. How is everyone doing? There's our friend Kat, just me. I missed somebody. Ah, crud, I'm sorry. Big T, good morning. Roxana, good morning. I should have slowed this down. I didn't. As you can tell, I'm out of practice. Juicy Tequila Bobo, good morning. There's our friend Lisa Magoo. November Day. How's everybody doing? Hopefully the heat's not too bad where you're at. Got some good news. This Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have a chance for rain. I cannot tell you how excited I am about this. I'm going to have doors open, windows open. I don't care if it floods the damn house. I am ready for some rain. So catch me up, everybody. How was your weekend? What went on last week? What got your attention in the Summer Wells case? Because I know what got mine. So let me see. Hillbilly's in. Where you been, Hillbilly? I haven't seen you in a long time. So while I'm getting things organized on this end, hello, Connie. Let's bring up our friend Kat. Good morning, Kat.
Hello, good morning, Brooks. How are you?
Good. I mean, I just did this on Friday for a members live, but that's usually, so laid back and everything. I try to be a tad bit professional for the public lives, but that goes to hell in a handbasket real quick anyway.
You do really well.
So I say a lot went down. I mean, for a case, talking about Summer Wells, that's what we're talking about today, with really no information, it will never cease to amaze me how it's always had a life of its own, put together by the people that are suspects.
Yeah, interspersed with details that appear maybe 13 months after the disappearance of Summer Wells. It's quite strange. Still, things are, the suspects are putting together their narrative even as we speak.
It's like they're writing the book as they go along. It's like the book and the movie are simultaneous. It's like everyone's watching the movie, and it's like, that's not what happened last season.
Right. The continuity department's gone to hell in a handbasket for sure.
Yeah. And this Tim Mullins, I think he's the one more than. I mean, people talk about different creators. It is what it is. I mean, they have their, that's their commentary. They're talking about the case or their perception of the case, whether it's a gossip or whatever. I don't care. That's their platform. Yeah. The one that does not want this ship to ever dock is Tim Mullen.
Oh, he's the puppet master, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one pulling all the strings right now. He may have been doing it all the time, but we only know about it through the last, know about him through the last few months. But to me, he's the one conducting the orchestra, and he's just doing it blindfolded, basically. And they're just playing whatever the hell he conducts them to do.
And I do want to know his motivation, because it came out a few months ago that he had reached out to the parents of Michael Vaughn, who we will be talking about tomorrow. Is he wanting to make this a business? What is the motivation that Tim has got going on, because I do not believe for a minute that this freaking weirdo has got any sort of bleeding heart for the missing children of America.
Right. Well, it's kind of, I can kind of understand in terms of if he got like this involved with Summer Wells' family because he lives there. It's kind of similar with their neighbour, the Wells neighbour, who is saying that once this case is over, she's going to be, you know, fighting on behalf of all missing children across the US. Why? You don't live next door to any of the rest of them. You know, you haven't really helped this case. And it's kind of the same with Tim Mullen, as in he lives in the same state and in the same area, so you can almost see why he would get involved in that respect with Summer Wells. But why other children? What, you know, like you say, is not exactly like a bleeding heart liberal, is he, that he's gonna, you know, have such a heart for children that he doesn't live in the same state as, you know? It's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I think he's gotten a taste of something he's never had before in his life, and that is people want to talk to him. Like you mentioned, the neighbor, I won't say her name. It rhymes with Jody Poo.
I can't think who it is.
Will use her platform to continue fighting for the suffrage of neglected and missing children, yet she couldn't do anything about the missing child directly across the street from her.
Exactly. I've got no hope in terms of the future of either of these people, because neither of them have a vested interest in any other child. They only have vested interest in themselves.
Yeah. And the one from their community that they didn't throw the life preserver out to when they had the chance. So
exactly.
I mean, I guess it's just me. Not going to partake in that. But I will say that this letter that looks like it was written by Captain Jack fucking Sparrow himself definitely got my attention while I was on break.
Excellent. I think we're going to go through it today, right?
Well, we're going to go through it. Now, I will say I'm going to play the narration by A.F. Pennington. I am throwing absolutely zero shade her way. I think she's a very, very gifted creator. I wish she would do more with her talents.
Yeah.
She is of the mindset, innocent till proven guilty. She's not throwing shade anyway until she has to. And she might be the type that even then she will just let the courts do it. I was thinking not so much about A.F. Pennington, about another woman that I came across. This might even been before I had a channel. And the two of us, we butted heads quite a bit. Well, she was a volunteer for a place. I can't remember if she was an actual attorney or a paralegal. Either way, way above my pay grade. I don't pretend to be anything except for what I am, and that's sitting on my couch drinking a lemon water right now.
A gob on a stick, as I call it.
There you go. So she did all kinds of volunteer work for something called the Innocence Project. And as we started talking more about it, it's a real thing, and it's a very, very important thing. Well, I knew this lady wasn't going to be anybody that was going to be able to sit with me. Okay. I am 100% about getting people out of jail that should never have been there. But like I said, that's way above my pay grade. I wouldn't know how to prove them innocent. So I had nothing to offer her. But as far as the don't talk about them, don't point the finger, they're innocent till proven guilty. I have said it time and time again. That's not my job. That's for the judge, the jury, the prosecutor, and the defense attorney. That has nothing to do with me. And until Ronnie Lawson, TBI, FBI card unit, I don't care if the dog catcher of Rogersville comes out and says, they're not suspects. We screwed up. Hey, then they're off the table.
Yeah, same. And even then, you know, even then I'd probably privately still think my own thoughts about that. But yeah, I agree with you. If after 13 months they haven't cleared them as suspects, and there's no reason why I should clear them as suspects, or I should think any differently about them, you know.
I mean, I'm still going to say, yeah, okay, I'm glad. I'm actually very happy that they had nothing to do with this because she already
Mhm.
had a bad enough life. I'm
Yep.
happy that they have nothing to do with her disappearance.
Mhm.
Yet, gonna put an asterisk there. They're still shit people.
Right, exactly. It doesn't make them, salt of the earth types just because even if their names were cleared or cleared as suspects, doesn't make them salt of the earth people. And I certainly won't be apologising either.
No, because my educated guess
Yep.
is the same as it was when I started talking about Summer
Yep.
Wells, June 16th, 2021. And that is, Candace, you got to know something.
Yep.
You got to know something, girlfriend. You were present all day long, and so was Queen of the Camper. We have more gossip going on about Queen of the Camper. The camper's gone. Oh my God, people are throwing all this shade at JLR. He's basically just telling people the damn thing's gone. He
He
didn't
didn't move
say
the
what
camper, did he?
day. You what?
He wasn't the one that moved the camper. She's the messenger, basically.
He was just basically the messenger. And I've seen, oh, that's old news. We already knew. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the camper, and I've got more things to say about the camper later this week. First, would you like to do some comments with me?
Yes, my favorite part. Yes.
We love the comments. Love the comments. And I love the comments video and the person that made it, who will remain nameless. It rhymes with that. All right, 6 days ago, all the adults that lived on the Hell Hill seem like it's just another day. Okay, we're kind of going back to they could be as innocent as new fallen snow. We have not heard that. All we have heard is they're all suspects.
Yeah.
They're not talking about me and Kat. They're talking about the people from 110 Ben Hill Road.
Yep.
He goes on to say, for them, it's just another day. Summer Goes Missing is another ordinary day.
Yep.
Like she wasn't even a living little girl. Just so sad, Summer never had a chance to live a normal little girl's life, to grow, but never grow up and live a life of her own. Yeah. They talk about it as if I have more emotion when I can't find my cat, and my cat drives me insane.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know people that have spent longer time looking for their cat and putting up missing posters than they ever spent looking for Summer.
Oh, 100%. And so that has been a big elephant in the room as far as this case for over 13 months now, is the void of emotion, the detachment, the way they describe Summer. I was watching, I was flipping through YouTube one day, and there was a clip, and it was Dr. Phil years ago talking about Chris Watts. He kept talking about how he was void of emotion, and the past tense told him he was looking at a murderer.
Right.
Now, I wish he would have had some extra testosterone in him when he was talking to Don and Candace that day when he had them in his studio. Yeah. But he was all kinds of fired up. Reminded me of the DA in the Gannon Staunch murder. When he heard Letitia use his name in past tense. Done. That was the nail in the coffin. We got to get her.
Well, they've done it. I mean, Don has definitely done it since, well, he was even picked up on it before he even did the WJHL interview, because he made a comment about, oh, well, I better not talk about her in the past tense because they'll notice that and they'll pick me up on it. And then he carried on using her name in the past tense. So at the end of the day, he's been doing it since week. How many weeks after that was it that they did the WJHL interview? Was it like 2 weeks or?
It was, I think, June 24th, but before they ever got that beauty queen out in the yard to talk to him in her best rebel hat, Jeff Bobo with Rogersville Review spoke with Don on the phone, and this was June 8th of 2021, where he was using her in past tense, not even using her name, and he summed it all up in a nutshell. She's gone, buddy.
Yeah. And that was 3 days after she'd gone missing. So 3 days after, he was already talking about her in the past tense. And yet Chris Watson, this what other case was it you were saying, Dr. Phil?
Dr. Phil didn't weigh in on Gannon Staunch, but the DA, when he spoke publicly about what led to charges against Letitia Staunch, and whoa, God. Anyway, when he heard when he heard her interview on a local station, and when she used the term Gannon was, it also reminds me of Terry Horman when she went and spoke to Kyron Horman's mother, Desiree. She hugged her and said, I hope you know I loved your son. Wow. Couldn't use the word Kyron, loved your son. This is with everyone in a panic at a police station, getting lie detector tests, you name it. He's out there somewhere. Hugs the mama. I loved your son. Right. No, we're going to find Kyron. We're going to find Kyron. I love it.
Yeah. Seems like quite a common theme that runs through these cases, really. The whole use of past tense suggests very strongly to me that they already know something, or, they witnessed something, or, they know that it's the end. Past tense is a very, well, obviously, because in the past it's a very previous thing to say, isn't it? She loved to twirl, You've already accepted it by then, haven't you? And 3 days after your child goes missing is not the time when you would accept that she was just gone,
Absolutely. She's just gone, buddy. Even Megan Boswell obviously knew something the others didn't, because she tried to use Evelyn's name in present tense, but it's just like her mind wouldn't let her.
Yeah, because your mind thinks quicker than your mouth speaks. Like, your mind is an instant reaction and your mouth comes out with it, So whatever she was trying to do in her mind wasn't what was coming out of her mouth. I meant the mouth speaks quicker than the mind thinks. That's what I meant.
It's almost impossible. I was watching something one day, I can't remember what it was, and they were getting people to nod their head yes as they were saying a sentence that they knew wasn't true. Right. And as they were nodding, it was almost, your brain is the original knee-jerk reaction. They couldn't themselves do it. Within a couple of seconds, they were immediately shaking their head no. That's why I love Leslie with the TBI. She does not have a poker face. Forget it. When they ask her a question before she opens her mouth, that head's already swinging. It's a bobblehead. It's swinging one way or another. It's up and down. Yep. Or it's nope.
Interestingly, though, on that point, when the behavioural panel did the interview with Don, they said one of his bottom line, like his standard things, was to shake his head when he was saying yes and to nod his head when he was saying no. And that was one of his baselines. And it was kind of like, at the time, I was like, how can that be a baseline? It psychologically does not make sense that you would shake your head while you were saying yes and nod your head when you're saying no. But they took that as a baseline for Don.
I take it he'd been practicing in the mirror after he watched a marathon on TNT of the movie Ransom.
Yeah, was that before or after he found out what meth heads were like by looking on the internet?
Who would know? The class in Dawn continues. Irene says no one used the toilet all day. How is that possible? Someone would have to her bladder and Grandis. Strange people. That is one thing, without being gross, I have brought up on here several times. And I'm not getting off on the timeline right now because I know I have beat that dead horse and I'm going to continue to. When they are trying to fill in the gaps of their day, the simplest things that we as human beings do never comes out of their mouth. Well, we had to get something to eat, something obvious. Well, yeah, duh, I would think you have to eat. Takes time to, even if you're microwaving a pizza. I had to get something to eat. Well, Summer had to pee. I had to bring her inside really fast. We've been in the truck. Anything just simple, that they never can fill in even 30 seconds for us with that. I'm not trying to picture them defecating. Okay. I'm not that bad. What they ate or when they ate. But this just something simple to fill stuff in. They can't. Well, hell, we've been in the truck. Summer ran inside. She had to pee.
Yeah, I guess she'd been in the water though. A lot of kids pee in water, didn't they? Don't want to
Oh
make
yeah,
you phobic of swimming pools or anything, but it's always one thing I always wonder is like how many kids are peeing in this pool.
absolutely crazy. Robin Smith said Grandis comes across as a cold-hearted woman in regards to her grandchildren. Yeah. As in the parents' case, Grandis has no plea, no worries, or concerns regarding Summer. As a side note, I'm surprised Grandis hasn't come out with a statement defending herself after the Chris McDonough show.
Mhm,
I was really hoping that she would. Grandis is a very selfish person.
mhm,
She is all about herself. She is not concerned about her daughter being missing. The plight that her daughter is going through right now, meaning Candace, her
mhm.
granddaughter being missing, her 3 grandsons being in state care. She
Yeah.
was not even concerned about watching dogs with worms looking for food just outside of her camper. She is
Oh,
not that type of person. And I know there are people that will do, they defend this woman to the hilt. They do. I don't know what has happened to this woman, and I don't care.
no.
She is not an empathetic, caring individual.
She's definitely not, when you would think of a granny or a grandma sort of thing, the way that you would think about them being, I mean, she's just not even a mothering type, let alone a grandmothering type. She doesn't seem to have a bone in her body that cares about anybody apart from herself.
Mm-mm.
As long as she's all right, then that's fine. As long as she's able to live her life the way she wants to live it, where she wants to live it, when she wants to live it, and she's going to go to bed sleeping just fine at night. It's everybody else that's thinking about her daughter and her granddaughter and her grandsons being in care and her first 2 grandchildren in state care or been adopted out or whatever. These are things that she doesn't need to worry her little head about when she goes to bed at night. She sleeps just fine. And I don't get that. I really don't. She has no connection to anyone. It doesn't seem like she's got any like interpersonal connection with absolutely anybody else in the world, really.
No connection, none. And, love him or hate him, the only person I have seen, or I should say, trust him or doubt him, the
Hmm.
only person in this case I've seen that had any hint of emotion was Jose. The rest of them can talk about Summer as if it's a t-shirt they lost.
Exactly. Or a cup of tea that they're
I
just
looked
about to
for it
donate.
for a while. It had to be around there somewhere, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, I didn't find it. So it's obviously just gone. I'll see it in the resurrection, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Very interesting. Preschool Granny said, right. My sister in law and also my best friend both went to school with Grandis, and they both said she was cold, tough person in school. I imagine, and there's been a lot of discussions that their reaction to Summer disappearing is generational.
Hmm.
This is how they handle things, not just behind closed doors, but this is the face they show us. All
Yeah.
right, good enough. But then you have questions for people like Allie,
Hmm.
Sherry, Grandbun. I understand Hunter is a minor, but he has to, at this point, understand the gravity that this little
Yeah.
girl, she
Yeah.
didn't vanish.
Exactly. Even the neighbours that we were talking about earlier, none of them, there doesn't seem to be one single person in the whole entire saga of this whole story that has one iota of empathy or conscience or, like you say, maybe Jose brought us a semi-emotional description of Summer and the children, but realistically, nobody else seems to have an ounce of understanding or concern for anybody else.
They
The church,
don't think,
people at
they
the
don't
church,
they
just
don't they don't seem to think outside of their little bubble they've
no.
built for themselves.
Hmm.
We're going to talk about that with Dawn's letter in a second.
Okay.
So, like I said, before I get more into it or get way out there, again, it came up over the weekend. JLR did a video. Grandis's
Hmm.
camper is gone. Now,
Okay.
he didn't say the date, he didn't say when, So I have a comment in here I'm going to read. It really has to do with the camper, but here's the comment. I heard that the property is for sale on Ben Hill. I wonder if that's true or more lies. Now, 110 Ben Hill Road is not for sale because the proprietor of the manor is in jail.
Right.
So we do have several locals in our group that are definitely vested in this case. Now, one in particular, now this is when I was on vacation, all right?
Yeah.
Messaged me and said that she had heard this rumor that there was property for sale out there. Out of her own curiosity, she drove out there just to see if it was Dawn and Candace's.
Right.
I don't know. I don't even if I asked her if anything was for sale out there or not. We started talking about other things. Okay, so she mentioned she saw the camper. The camper's there.
Okay.
We have people arguing saying, no, it was moved in May. We had the memorial June 15th, 2022. Another creator was out there. The camper was there. People say the camper doesn't matter. I don't care about the camper. I'm not looking to buy the camper. I wouldn't piss on that camper if it was. Okay? My last drink of water was in that camper. I'd be like, no, I had to go sometime anyway. It's my
right.
However, I'm asking not just Kat, but all of you in chat. Who is to say it's not a big deal or that it has nothing to do with the case or it's just for I love this quote, that's just for clicks and views when you don't like the conversation. Right. How is it not a big deal that a suspect in the disappearance of Summer Wells moved her shit out of state? That's a big deal.
She never took that camper with her every 6 months when she used to go backwards and forwards to Wisconsin or Illinois, depending on who you're listening to, where she was. She never used to take the camper with her. So why would she suddenly move it now?
Yeah, why is it got to be gone now? It was said because she wants to move south. She's in Tennessee. She's in the south. Are we going further south? Are we taking that tin can full of shit down to Florida? We going down to the deep south? Gonna try on our boots and spurs and go down to Texas? Is she want to go get out to the desert? What are we doing here? But it's moved. It's gone.
It never ceases to amaze me, and it's nothing to do with the case. How they manage, how they need 4-wheel drive vehicles to get up that hill with all the gravel and everything that washes down the hill every time it rains, and how steep it is and how difficult it is, etc. And yet the campers managed to get up and down that hill before, and there's a school bus up there, which apparently Candace is trying to convert into a home. If you listen to a certain person who cannot always be relied on, last night said that Candace was turning the school bus into a home to live in.
Great. That's a good deal.
So, but how they get these vehicles up and down, that's what I want to know. That was the point I was making. It's like, it's not going to be that easy to get a camper down that hill, apparently.
It got up there somehow, and that's another thing. They were like, tires are rotted out. This is wrong. Now, I don't know who did this walk around, and I don't care. I really do not care about the condition of the damn camper. Here's my thing. For anyone to say it's not a big deal, has nothing to do with the case, has nothing to do with Summer, oh, touche. A suspect in the disappearance of Summer Wells, who happens to be her grandmother, took that rat trap and got it down the hill, a very badly mismanaged property, because let's face it, it's been abandoned. I can only imagine what it took to get it out of there. On top of that, said camper is where Camper Queen went to nap while her granddaughter was being abducted. How does it not matter that it's suddenly gone?
Well, it's the same way as why does it not bother people that Candace is suddenly gone from the house? You know, she's nowhere to be seen around that property, or nowhere around when her daughter's missing, you know, completely out of contact and not cooperating with law enforcement. The same thing goes for her mother. You know, her mother, Grandis, disappeared 6 weeks after or 3 weeks after Summer disappeared, she went off out of state. She was done. She was just like, yeah, I'm off, mate. You carry on looking for my granddaughter. I'm going. And she disappeared. So taking the camper is as relevant as them two not being on the property as well.
I don't get it.
Why have they abandoned the property?
I would totally understand if someone broke in, and I'm not giving anybody any ideas, all right? Someone breaks in your house and something horrific happens to your child. I would never want to see that house again. I would never want to have the memory. But as we hear from Captain Jack Sparrow's letter, they're still on the abduction. You would want to keep your home for when she comes home.
Right. Well, also, as well as that, they lived there for, well, Don went to jail in February, but I mean, they were happy living there until Don went to jail. And then Candace sort of drifted after she'd had, you know, conversations with different YouTubers, sort of drifted away from the property. And now the grandmother's gone from the property, but they were fine to stay there for the first however many months it was playing Monopoly while they were out searching for Summer. So, you know, kind of makes you think, well, if they can abandon the property this late in the day, what's changed in the meantime that they want to leave it now? Why does Grandis want to take her camper now? She never took it every 6 months that she was up and down the states before.
That's what I'm wondering too. Why do we have to get rid of the camper now? What's even if she moved it in May, even if they had their falling out and she took it with her in April, because we even had a conversation, I don't know if it was in here or if we were doing a Discord live, because I said, that old woman's probably going to leave that camper there to make sure she's got some sort of claim. That way, if Dawn gets out, she's like, well, I at least have to come back and get my camper.
Yeah.
So to me, we can disagree. And at the end of the show, like I said, we agree to disagree and we're still friends. To me, it's a big deal that suddenly it would have to be urgency to get the camper out of there. It's full of shit.
Yeah.
Not only is it where she was sleeping that day that her granddaughter disappeared, it seems like a very odd time to go get it now.
So we don't think the property that was for sale on Ben Hill Road was Grandis's camper, no?
No.
Just imagine like new owner collects or whatever. So she sold the camper and someone had to come pick it up. That's not the property we're talking about, no.
Nah, that's not the prime piece of real estate.
No.
Nah.
I was going to say, because wasn't it the neighbour's ex-husband that was looking for a camper? He was looking to buy a camper.
Watch it be some shit like that.
Yeah,
so I had to go get my camper because he's been on YouTube saying he needs $2,000 for a camper. I could see something stupid like that.
No, that'd be a turn up for the books.
You be kidding me. So, people that dictate or try to dictate to us and say, oh, that's just for clicks and views. That doesn't matter. That camper doesn't matter. Hell, it doesn't. A suspect takes her property off of said property where said abduction happens, where she was napping. How is that not a big deal?
Exactly. It might not be the most important part of the whole entire case, because the most important part of the whole entire case is that after 13 months, a 5/6-year-old child is still missing from that property. But it definitely plays a role in what is the motivation of moving your camper at this point of the whole thing off of that property, when it was the place that you spent that day napping when your granddaughter disappeared.
Well, it seems to me that is her, that's where she lives, and lots of people do. They have the RV living, they have the, they live in campers and stuff like that.
But that wasn't an RV, was it? It was a towing trailer, wasn't it?
Yeah. You tow it behind a truck. So it's one way or another. Either she had a reason to get it out of there, or she found the spot where she's going to set up and she went and got her camper because she's permanently moved from Ben Hill Road. Any way you look at it, unless she was afraid Andy was going to get it, is a big deal.
I think it is a big deal. I think it definitely has a significance in terms of why now, kind of thing, like why it was moved, definitely.
Is it because, like I said, she found where she wants to permanently put down roots and she's out of there 100%? She's not going back. She's
Right.
done. She's done with this shit.
Hmm.
Or is there something else? I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah. I've heard things, but I don't really trust the source. So, you know, I don't really know whether I believe what was said anyway about her moving up north and settling down now for a quiet life. And she wants to just live a peaceful, happy life away from there now.
Well,
You know,
good
how
on.
you can do that, I don't know, with a missing daughter and a missing granddaughter. But, you know, never really tried to work out their psyche because I don't live in their heads, thank God.
No, I don't quite get it either. I wouldn't even be able to digest a meal with that
Hmm.
much tragedy within arm's reach of me.
Hmm.
No way. And I
Hmm.
would damn sure, people have gotten after my ass going, well, if you were Candace, would you stay up there? I would if I was trying to get custody of my 3 sons back.
Right, exactly. Well,
If
she's
I
got a
was
home
in,
already there,
yeah,
and
that's their home.
and their home has had a lot of work done on it by people that watched them on YouTube. Were going up there and actually cleaning, tidying, fixing, building, not drywall, stone walling, all this kind of stuff up at that property. So where would be the better place to bring your boys back to if you really wanted them back than your own home?
Well, and that's a really, really good point. I actually blocked a lot of that out of my memory. Yeah, they had people showing up with I'm not skids, but like vinyl tile to put down like
Mhm.
actual flooring for them. We
Yep.
saw, instead of the crawling under the cabinet to get to the dungeon, there's an actual
Staircase.
staircase now.
Hmm.
People went out of their ways to help them fix this house up.
Yep.
Shows you again how shameless they are for
Yep.
Candace to leave it all behind. She,
Yep.
she just threw the baby out with the bathwater. Because, like I said, she
Absolutely.
has 3 sons that
Hmm.
she could be doing reunification visits with.
Hmm.
And honestly, at this point, it's a year later, they could be back in her custody. Suspect or
Yeah.
not, she hasn't been charged with anything. And no, I do not wish that on those boys.
No, I don't either. I was going to ask you about that though, because I know you spoke about it before with you had a guest on your panel who seemed to know quite a bit about it. But do they not have a time limit where she has to get those boys back by? Is it a year or?
I don't know. I heard 18 months, but
Okay.
sometimes she also said, now she's in a different state. She said
Hmm.
they basically do it in 6-month increments.
Right.
So
Okay.
this is your plan. You work on this for 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, they never even completed a 6-day plan from my vantage
Mhm.
point.
Right. No, me either. I wasn't convinced that she was ever really trying to get those kids back, but since she's abandoned that property and it would be the ideal place if she was going to get them back, which I don't agree with, but if legally she could get them back, then surely you would bring them back to a home that has recently been renovated and is now fit for purpose as a home for your children that you lost to state custody last year. You know, it just doesn't make sense.
And that was the whole reasoning for having people come out,
Exactly.
money out of their
Yep.
pocket, mind you, not out of the Wellses, money
No.
out of their pocket to fix up, clean up, do all this stuff so they could get the boys back.
Yeah.
That again, that just shows you how shameless they are.
Absolutely.
Candace, at least, I think Dawn had the intention of getting the boys back, and that Candace is just the type, yeah, fix my shit up, and then she
Hmm.
just leaves.
Hmm.
She just leaves.
Ups and gone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Ups and on. Hang on 1 second. I missed a comment I was going to address.
Oh.
Gummit, I hate when I do that. All right, so let's get to the letter.
Okay.
Before I get into it, how many of you think that this is Don, sober Don, spilling his love for his missing daughter and his family out onto paper through pen? in what looks like calligraphy to me. This is some pretty fancy cursive. I didn't realize Dawn was had such penmanship.
I thought it was a letter from a spider that had written all over run all over the page, covered in ink, and then it was posted. Personally, I couldn't read a word of it, but
I've got it right here. It's hard to read, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, is this part of the Dead Sea Scrolls? What am I looking at?
is this even in English? Like what?
What is this? And it's signed Summer's father?
Uh-huh. Who's that? Did he forget his name or was it written? What?
Summer's father.
Mm-hmm.
Why not lovely young lady's father?
Uh-huh.
She's been called a million different things. Why not just Gone's father?
Mm-hmm.
I have read it many times.
Mm-hmm.
Many times. And it seems to me that Dawn realizes that there's getting ready to be a light at the end of the tunnel, and he would know way more than anyone else because he's the one in the pokey.
Mm-hmm.
That he is going to have to drum up some sympathy from the outside world real quick, because when he is released, he's going to need employment.
Yeah. Well, he's also going to need people on side for that, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He really struggled before he went into jail to get people on side. So coming out after this stint isn't exactly going to make him look like Father of the Year, is it?
Mm-mm. No. But in his own self-serving way and using Summer, mm-hmm. he is trying to garner up some sympathy from the outside because he knows his 3 hots in a cot are about to be up. Not that he's loving being there, I'm sure. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit. And let's face it, he can't even depend on Candace to do DoorDash to get them some extra money.
Right.
Don't tell me that Candace is unemployable. They're not John and Patsy Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
People, they are not as famous as they have got it in their minds.
Right.
It's a big country, people. It's a big country.
But, well, they are kind of like the Beverly Hillbillies since they went on Dr. Phil, right? That was their,
but how many people watch that? They've watched how many episodes since?
Mm-hmm.
They're commenting on, I mean, they're waiting for the next season to come up. They've long gone, forgot about them.
Although there was three new out edits released this week, weren't there?
Oh, how did I miss that? I heard that they were just reruns, the exact same thing.
I think there was 3 clips released. Like one was 45 minutes and the other 15 minutes, sorry, and the other ones were really short clips, but they seem to be focused on different edits of it was bits from the original, but there was also a couple of bits that weren't in the original, just a couple of his thoughts and stuff. It was a little bit different, but not massively. It was just weird how they were 3 released on the same day. But it was after this letter anyway, and it was around the same time as the news media started to talk about this letter. It just seemed like weird timing to me, that was all.
It's all weird timing. Mm-hmm. I was really shocked, to be quite honest. I get them talking about the letter that came out for her 1-year disappearance. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, this random letter that is in, like I said, cursive or signed Summer's father.
It was trailed on the Don Wells Family Official, like the day before. I think there was a message in kind of like you know when you type and then you get a computer to read it for you. So the message that was on the Don Wells Family Official thing the day before was like, there will be some letters released and we urge the public not to judge the writer of this letter because he's been through so much and this is such a difficult time as he serves his season in it was almost like a Netflix thing, his season in jail, you know, like there was season 2 was coming soon kind of thing. So there was this whole message released, and then the day after, this letter was put up.
His season in jail, I love it. It goes right back down to numero uno, and that is Don Juan de Jail.
Don Juan.
He knows he is going to be getting out either next month or possibly October. He's not going to be given it the good old college trial and rehab, even if he's made to go there, because these things with the courts change all the time. Now, I think it was JLR that says he's due to get out at the end of October. Okay. So then
that's what it says on the official documents, that his release date is estimated around the 30th of October. Estimated, that's all it says. It doesn't say for definite, but
estimated. And then when he went to jail in February, it was said by the judge could be August with good behavior. There was many shows done about that. So
yeah, it was
that would be 6 months.
Yeah, it was 6 months and then 6 months in rehab. But the thing is, I don't understand is that why would you put someone in rehab 6 months after they've got clean anyway? Like, if he's been in jail for 6 months already, then he's already clean. Why would he need to go to rehab?
Well, I think rehab would be a good thing for Don, because in rehabs, they focus on not the poison you're putting in your body, but the reason why.
Right.
And considering that he has a missing daughter, it would be pounded in his head: truth, honesty, accountability.
Right.
That is something that even the old SDA church and his hero Ellen White couldn't get out of him. Not saying that he knows, but in his sober mind, sitting there with 23 hours a day of nothing to do but think, and you can just imagine what goes through old Don's mind.
Right.
So from February to today, do you think it's crossed his little peanut sober mind one time that maybe Candace did not tell him the truth about what happened June 15th?
Well, it doesn't seem like it to us, I guess. He doesn't really, like, even in the letter thing, doesn't really think that Candace didn't do anything wrong. He's pleading for her to be able to get a job and shit.
Yeah, my wife and I are not employable.
Well, really?
I didn't realize that Candace had been out pounding the pavement trying to find a job.
Exactly.
Where did I miss that? Is that what she's been doing all this time? Candace been looking for a job this whole time? I don't think so. No. She's a grifter. She found someone to, float her a few bucks for cigarettes and whatever else she needs.
Well, she got all of that camping equipment off of her Amazon wish list, didn't she, just before she disappeared?
Oh, you bet.
Blankets and picnic sets and, I don't know, table ornaments for dinner parties and camping stuff. So she's probably off living in a tent somewhere.
And I thought about that. I'm like, wouldn't it be something if old Candace is, pulling a Reese Witherspoon and she's recreating the movie Wild and she's out on the Appalachian Trail?
Right.
So I don't think so. No, I don't know. Like I said, these things with the courts change all the time because, you got politics, you got money, and then you've also got their give a damn. Do they really at this point really give a damn? He's been sitting there since February. He hasn't given them what they need to crack this case.
Right.
I mean, what else are they going to do with him? So if he gets out in August, like I said, I guess he would go to rehab, wherever that might be. Or if he gets out in October, either way, the end of his sentence would be January. After January, you can't do anything with him. That was said the day that he was sent away.
Right. It was 11 months and 29 days, wasn't it? The full sentence. There was stipulations on it for good behaviour or for rehab or whatever, but the ultimate sentence was 11 months and 29 days. So I presume if he doesn't serve the whole thing, the rest of it will be spent on probation. Is that right? He'll be on probation in January.
How the probation was even going to work, because he's in there for violating probation.
Right.
So I'm assuming that would be a little strict on Don this time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We're going to know when Don gets out.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to know. We're going to know. It will be all over DHL. Was it WVLT? I mean, we'll know.
I mean, he'll be on YouTube that night probably when he gets out. Wouldn't surprise me.
Candace going, Candace, You've got a fucking channel. What's the password? I've got shit.
Right.
What's the password, Candace?
Oh my life.
And it's going to be something like I love Benny 6'9", and then he's going to
Yeah.
blow up the basket. So let's get to the letter, because I think for whatever reason, Don is trying to garner sympathy for when he gets out, because this is the first time. Now he's whined and complained about, what happened to his job, which he basically just got taken off that job and sent to another, because a couple days later he was back at work.
Yeah.
But however he wants to spin it, whatever, Don.
Exactly.
So it seems to be more about where's he going to work when he gets out than anything. Now, before I get to the letter, let's not forget, because I know a few people have, not in here because you guys are the coolest, that law enforcement has said time and time again, they don't believe there is any abduction. There's no sign of abduction. There's no evidence of an abduction. The FBI card unit said no abduction.
Yeah.
Don's letter says otherwise, but we can't expect anything less. I would love a letter where Don says, look, I've been sitting here all this time and I'm writing down everything Candace told me. And then I'm writing down what she told me the next day and the next day and the next day. And it's not adding up.
Exactly. They told me to go make sure she had her timeline straight, and we still don't know what the timeline is.
They specifically told me to stay on her about what went on that afternoon. And that's all I've got.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. All right. Hang on.
It's after midnight. A personal letter from the father of a missing East Tennessee girl was added to the family's website. Don Wells penning an emotional letter from jail addressed.
Okay, already I'm stopping it. To the person or persons responsible for kidnapping Summer. Why don't you just say persons, because you've already blamed everyone except Candace. And
And how many times has he been told that kidnapping is a word that suggests that there'd be a ransom and she would be returned if she'd been kidnapped? That's the kind of definition of kidnapping. How many times has he been told that there was no abduction, that there's no sign of any abduction, and that kidnapping suggests that she's going to be returned for a ransom? Just the first sentence just breaks my head.
Yeah. Me too. So right there, to the person or persons responsible for kidnapping Summer. Okay, well, that's really not a complete sentence. So I'm going to go with Don wrote this part of it. Okay, not only have you broken Summer's heart, good Lord, Don, and taken her away from her mother and father, whom, which is not one of Don's words, love her very much, period. Somebody didn't do good in school here. But you've ruined her chances to become educated, ruining her life. Who's to say that Summer is found that she would have no chances of getting educated? Have you not heard about the Cleveland kidnapping victims? Have you not heard of J.C. Dugard? Have you not heard of Elizabeth Smart? Have you not heard of Sean Hornbeck? There have been not as many as we'd like children that have been returned from being abducted and actually put together huge foundations, continued their education to do amazing things with what happened to them.
Yeah, the Turpin children. I mean, there's so many examples. It's just always the same with Don. He really gets my hackles up. Quite apart from the fact that I'm not the grammar police, so I don't even want to start on that. But why would your 13, 14 months after your daughter went missing, you're going to write a note directed at the kidnappers, right? So wouldn't you have written this letter 14 months ago if you seriously thought that she'd been kidnapped? Because that would have been the time when you were most likely to get a response or something. And then you go on. You waited all this time, and then you go on, and the first thing that you're concerned about is the fact that you've ruined Summer's chances to become educated. What about you've ruined Summer's chances to be safe? What about you've ruined Summer's chances to be loved, to be happy? No, none of that. Educated. That's what Don's got. That's as far as Don's got, really. But she won't get an education.
Was education, did that ever cross anyone's mind in here? Were we ever worried about her ever getting an education?
Nope.
Being said,
well, the only thing is that she was due to start school this year. I guess that's the only time that I've thought about her education. It certainly wasn't the first thought that came to my mind after a year of her being missing. Oh, damn, Summer's not going to get an education.
No, and I wasn't really worried about her kindergarten year. Didn't really cross my mind, Dawn. Or coming into first grade. Didn't really cross my mind. More worried about her being alive, Dawn.
Right, exactly.
More worried about her being alive. You and Candace's heart, that's not up there on my list of prayers, Dawn.
No. And 2 weeks after not even that, 10 days afterwards, he's talking about seeing her in the resurrection. He wasn't thinking about her education then, was he?
Nope. She was in the resurrection. She's gone, buddy. Dina, 81, said, you ruined her career path.
Right.
Thanks a lot, kidnapper.
Exactly how it went through my mind. Okay, I'm breathing.
I'm trying to breathe too. I have read this so many times. It all boils down to Don sitting in his own shit going, where am I going to work when I get out? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Where am I going to work? Me and my wife aren't employable.
To the people responsible for kidnapping Summer. Here's Nikel Smith.
It was a letter written from behind bars where Don Wells continues to be after his arrest on a DUI charge, which violated his probation on a previous charge. A letter to the person or persons responsible for the kidnapping of his daughter Summer. The 5-year-old girl disappeared from their Hawkins County home in June of 2021. Don Wells and his wife Candace have been very public about their search for Summer. Though, as the months go by, they've expressed worry about ever getting a resolution to their heartbreak.
Well, yeah, I wonder if I'll ever see her again, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to lose hope, but yeah, I guess I am losing hope that I'll ever see her again. But yeah, I pray for her all the time.
In the letter, Don Wells talks about the lives ruined from Summer's parents to her brothers. He says the person has also touched everything, including their chance for employment. He says he doesn't know if he'll ever find a job after being fired from the one he had for 13 years, and Summer's mother, Candace, can't get anyone to hire her.
Not helping me.
Candace is not looking for a job. Candace is not going to get off her dead ass and do anything. This is all about when Don gets out, he's trying to get the sympathy so he can get a job. I will say at least Don is motivated to work. I'll say that at least.
He's manipulating people from behind bars. He's just trying to manipulate the public perception of him so that when he comes out, people don't see him as having ignored the fact that his daughter's been missing for 14 months.
And when he gets out, let's say he gets out in August, okay, that he does his 6 months and then he goes to the rehab or whatever. Let's just say, okay, so then we're looking at 14 months, right? Where have you been for 14 months except for drunk, doing drugs, cussing anybody who's tried to help you, including EquiSearch.
Yeah.
But now we're sober, thinking, I guess, with somewhat of a right mind. Now it's clicked in his head. Wow, we have a dumpster fire here. When I get out, the only place I have to go to is 110 Ben Hill Road. Who's going to hire me? Who's going to hire me? Nora, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Welcome, Nora.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome, Nora.
Do you remember when they went on so there was a period of time after Summer went missing, where everything went wild on YouTube, then people started to kind of lose a bit of interest, and they went on Dr. Phil, and it brought a whole influx of new people that had never heard about the case, never didn't know who anyone was. All they knew was what they'd seen on Dr. Phil. So this whole new influx of people came on YouTube because of the Dr. Phil show, and now slowly but slowly those people have drifted away, and people are drifting away from the case. And this is Don's point to say, well, I'm gonna light YouTube up again, or I'm gonna light this all up again. The new people that are coming in will have only have heard that I wrote a letter to my daughter from jail, and so then their opinion of him will only be tainted by one letter that he wrote from jail instead of everything that's gone on over the last 14 months.
Yeah, Summer's heart's broken. Her parents' heart's broken.
Right.
The boys actually have a second chance, so he can go sell that shit somewhere else. His heart's broken.
Yeah.
They're unemployable. That's not true. That's not true.
It's not. We know it's not true, but the people that are just tuning into this now have just seen, oh my goodness, this poor heartbroken father, he's in jail and he's just released a letter to, and they don't know all of the backstory and all of the stuff that's gone on over the last 14 months. All they see is a letter that he writes from jail. This is like, to him, I'm sure this is like a new beginning so that he can manipulate people from this point forward when he gets out.
Exactly. This is all about, he is saving his own skin, because hey, old Don's got to eat when he gets out, right?
Right.
And get ready, when he does, you're going to see Amazon wish list part 2. They're going to be coming out in droves. Yeah. Hell, he's going to have a brick pizza oven in the backyard.
I wouldn't even mind betting that when Don gets out, Candace will go back to Ben Hill Road and they'll pick up where they left off.
Absolutely, they will. Absolutely, they will. Absolutely, she will be right back up there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The handwritten letter goes on to beg the kidnappers to give their little girl back before God's wrath descends on them, adding, one day, God will...
All right, God's wrath descends on them. In any normal case, I would say, it's coming. It's coming. It may not happen on this earth, but you're going to get it somewhere, and you're not going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that God's wrath has really been descending down on your wife, Dawn.
Right.
And not to point out the obvious, you're sitting in jail.
Exactly, because you've got such a lot of room to be judge, jury, and executioner on how everybody else is in life, Don, right? Because you've got the moral high ground in this whole damn thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't tell God what to do. Just focus on what you're doing right now. You get right with God before you start telling other people how they should behave and how God should behave towards them.
Besides that, even in Don's feeble little spackled mind, he knows that nobody is tuning in to read his letter to the kidnappers.
Right.
He knows that the threat of God's wrath is not going to bring Summer back.
Right.
After sitting there all this time, and he knew before that something from June 15th didn't add up. Why in over 13 months has he not done exactly what the TBI asked him to do?
Yeah.
And that is the only thing he can do to help his little girl fill in the holes of that afternoon. Any little thing she's told you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pat, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
East Coast Mama said, hang on. East Coast Mama said, well, now, it is everyone else's fault but Don's. Mm-hmm. Don't forget that. Nope.
Ain't that the truth? In Don's head.
In Don's head. And it's not Candace's. That I will never understand. Because there have been so many cases of where one spouse or the other is responsible.
Yeah.
And they turn on him. Mm-hmm. I mean, on a dime.
Yeah.
And he's hanging right in there knowing that while he was at work, she's in charge of Summer, assuming he was at work all day. We don't know. He's still a suspect.
Yeah.
And that we're not talking about a 10-minute timeline. We're talking about the real gap in time by law enforcement, which we don't have for the minute. We're not talking 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something that's sensible. We're talking about the whole gap of an afternoon.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand. I still don't understand what it is about Candace that Don cannot see. Like, for example, when he was on the behavioural panel and they said, do you think Candace had anything to do with it? And he went, no. If anything happened to Summer, she'd know. She'd know to call the police. She'd know to do this. Like, why would you think it's more likely, knowing Candace as he's known Candace all of this time and the relationship, type of relationship they have, why would you be so willing to blame a random kidnapper or even other people that you know, rather than this woman that you've lived with your whole life, that has let your kids down, that you even said yourself, Don? I told her every day, watch Summer. Keep your eye on. I always knew something would happen to Summer. Then why the hell aren't you blaming Candace rather than blaming some random kidnapper that you're now writing a letter to 14 months too late?
Exactly.
Make it make sense, Don. Like, seriously, make it make sense, because it don't make sense to anyone else. It only seems to be you that it makes sense to, Don.
It doesn't make sense to me, but I go back to I didn't read it, or not read it, but listen to it. A show I did last summer. It was in July or August. I got to dig it out of the archives. It's buried in there somewhere on the channel. I did a show called Partners in Crime. I said, if you watch the way these two work together, feed off of each other, it doesn't really matter the reality of the situation. They're each going to cover for the other because they are partners in crime. They're each culpable. They're each guilty.
And they each have something over each other, I guess, is what we've been saying for quite a long time, isn't it?
There you go. There you go.
It baffles me. It baffles me what they could possibly have over each other that would be more important to you than your daughter or your child or any of your children, because it's not like any of his other children live in their custody anymore. So why are you still protecting this woman over your children? It doesn't matter what it is. There's just nothing I can think of that they could have over each other that would be worse than their daughter going missing.
It couldn't be. It couldn't possibly be in this universe or any universe that the sins of the parents would be more devastating than what has happened to Summer Wells.
Exactly. Yeah, I just don't get it. Never have.
I don't either.
Will hold you accountable for this crime unless you do something to make this right. Please do the right thing and turn our daughter over to the authorities.
Do you think in this part he's talking to Candace? Because Don knows in his mind that if the phantom abductor hears this, that's the point I'm making here. He knows that there's no phantom abductor. Okay, he knows.
Yep.
But he's got to stick with what the script, I guess we're going to call it. Do you think in this part he's talking to Candace directly? Let's listen to it again.
Okay.
He knows in his right mind that if somebody grows a conscience and produces Summer, that no, they're not going to make it right. They're going to go to jail for the rest of their lives.
Right. Exactly.
Period. So what is he trying to say here?
Okay.
Crime unless you do something to make this right. Please do the right thing and turn our daughter over to the authorities.
Turn our daughter over to the authorities.
Yeah.
Turn our daughter over. Do something to make this right.
Right.
So then I'm like, is Don, besides pleading for employment and trying to get people on his side for when he gets out, is he really trying to make a plea just in this part to Candace? Do
Our
the right
daughter.
thing.
Our daughter is a really interesting way to put it, considering how this letter is signed. It's not signed from Don and Candace, it's signed from Summer's father. So to say our daughter almost does suggest that he's talking to Candace, our daughter, as in mine and your daughter. Turn her over, make this right.
Make this right.
Good catch,
Do
Brooks.
the right thing. Do the
Great
right
catch.
thing. This could easily be a two-part thing. This could easily be Don trying to make sure he's got someplace to spackle when he gets out. And this could be a message to Candace. Just think about it.
Yeah, it's a possibility. That terminology, that way that he's written that is very, well, not that he's got a brain cell much, but our daughter really suggests he's talking about me and your daughter, our daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Descends on them, adding, "One day, God will hold you accountable for this crime unless you do something to make this right. Please do the right thing and turn our daughter over to the authorities." It ends with the line, "We're begging you with all our hearts, please do the right thing. Summer's father." Nikel Smith, News 2.
All right. And there it is. Summer's
Wow.
father. Okay. So we go from our daughter to then a different terminology. So, yeah, I think there was help with this letter, but if it was written from one person's point of view, say Tim, it wouldn't have been worded this way.
No.
I really do think that Don wrote something out.
Yeah.
And someone helped him craft it a little better.
Yes,
that part I'm not going to let go.
No.
Do the right thing for our daughter.
Right. So in the chat it says at Cat, the term "our" doesn't suggest he is speaking to Candace. He mentions "our" all the way through.
I'd have to go back and look at it again. Let's do it, because that really stuck out at me. That really stuck out at me, because who else can make it right? Don's been sitting there. Don has been sitting in the jail since February. They have tactics. They know how to get these people to talk.
Right.
Don's the idiot. The TBI is not.
Yeah.
The one that's on the outside doing whatever she wants. We're going to assume she's having a pretty good time. We haven't heard anything from her since April. Would be Candace. And then the one that decided to go get her tin can on wheels and drag it down the hill, that Chris McDonough himself said he had a hard time getting up. She's gone. She's out of Dodge.
Yep.
I kind of, in a way, wonder, not to skip around, but if that camper thing, if some moves weren't put in motion to get it out of there after McDonough called her out and said she's not the sweet grandma she tries to make everyone think she was. We didn't need McDonough's help on this, by the way. We already knew it.
Yeah. I mean, she's the smartest one of them all, right?
That's what Dawn said.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard so many stories about when that camper was moved that I don't know, to be honest. And like you say, if you haven't been and seen for yourself, you know, how would you know when it was moved?
You wouldn't know, because I think it was Dolly Vision himself that he was out there and the camper was there. And this was right after the memorial, because he was there for a while after. That was June 15th. So these people going, oh, it's been gone since May. That's old news. She took it in April. No, I know it was gone in May. And like I said, one of our own community members got curious as to what's for sale out there. And no, she wasn't a camper buying that day. She was looking for property. She's always talked about the real estate out there. She wanted to see if anything was newly for sale. And like I said, we got off on something else. She said the camper was there. Maybe McDonough did ruffle some feathers. I don't know. Superhero loves Akitas. I have missed you. Says, keep in mind that Candace divorced Don on Cam's Live, so he's about to get out. How are you going to bounce back from that, Candace? Because you spilled a lot of truth.
Slash day.
While you were on. You even said slash day. Slash day's coming. I love Donnie, but I'm not in love with Donnie. He's the kids' dad, but he's done what he's done. She's not the type to get offended about him violating his probation. I asked, what did he do? What did he do? I'm very curious. What did he do? She even went on another channel to say she doesn't know where Don was that day.
Yeah. Then again, I guess with the two of them, what I've always found difficult is that they both speak as if they've got verbal diarrhea. So you just think you're maybe getting somewhere listening to them, and then they just waffle on about something they weren't asked, or, you know, or give information they were never asked for. So is she just talking out both sides of her mouth as usual? You know, it's really hard to keep up.
I know. Yeah, that train was nuclear. That train was
100%.
nuclear. All right, so now we're going to go through the letter. A.F. Pennington is narrating it. Beautiful voice. I love her graphics. I mean, I think she does a really great job. So anyway, she's narrating the letter for us. I would prefer, for the next time Dawn pens a letter, can we get Morgan Freeman? Redemption, narrating Dawn's letter from the jail.
I mean, bless. I love A.F. Pennington, but yeah, go on. And Morgan Freeman for the win. Brooks, definitely.
So we're going to pretend, no offense to A.F. Pennington, she's got a beautiful voice. God knows nobody would pick me for this. Let's just close our eyes and let's meditate that this is James Earl Jones or Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
I'm for Morgan Freeman. You guys vote. Who do you want to pen the next letter? Who do you want to narrate?
Yeah, Morgan Freeman every day.
From the jail.
Responsible for kidnapping Summer. Not only have you broken Summer's heart and taken her away from her mother and father, who love her very much, but you've ruined her chances to become educated, ruining her life. You've also broke the hearts of her father and mother and brothers, and in the midst of all the commotion, ruined our lives. You see, the public blames us. I don't know if we'll ever find employment again. Nobody will hire my wife, and I've been fired from a job I've had for 13 years. We may end up losing everything. When you took our little girl, you took our very lives. Why don't you give our little girl back before God's wrath descends on you? You've broken many hearts, and more, especially an innocent 5-year-old girl's heart. One day, God will hold you accountable for this crime unless you do something to make this right. Please do the right thing and turn our daughter over to the authorities. We're begging you with all, please do the right thing. Summer's father.
Okay, so there it is, read out. I did like the William Shatner. That would be a good one. A lot of people with James Earl Jones. I'm still on the Morgan Freeman boat, guys. I really am. You know, nobody knows what goes on in Dawn's mind for sure, or where this idea came from. The timing is always peculiar to me, that I can only attribute that to Tim Mullen. Tim Mullen he never wants this to be over. And there's a few others that are the same way. I'm not going to go into that right now. He does not want this to be over. Right now, the one that was holding the pen in jail, he could do the right thing too. Somebody get him a lot of notebook paper and ink pens and say, write down every damn story that your wife and your mother-in-law told you about that day. We don't care about you. That'd be a good way to present it to Dawn. We don't care about you. We'll work with you later. Write down everything that you were told about that day. Everything. Not even just the afternoon. Everything.
Yeah. Tim doesn't seem to be the one that wants to admit that there is any fault on behalf of those parents. He's always, well, I mean, he calls Don his human boss. So, I mean, he's obviously taken the viewpoint from his standpoint that these parents are completely innocent of all wrongdoing, and therefore he must be the one that helps to promote them and their cause. And he's not even really thinking about Summer at the end of the day. He's thinking about the welfare of Don and Candace. So he's thinking about, and not even so much Candace now, but definitely Don.
Yeah,
He's
Don.
biased. He's got a huge bias. He's got a huge way of, I don't know what the agenda, I guess. His agenda is towards Don and Candace and against everybody else, you know. It's not about Summer.
I think his agenda is whatever keeps him
In the spot.
in, I guess, the spotlight, which he's never really tried to be in the spotlight so much.
Not
Like, you don't see, he didn't make
physically.
a channel. You don't see him on the news or anything like that. But this has given him some sort of importance.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, the spotlight, he's not like physically in the spotlight, but he kind of makes it known that his agenda is in the spotlight and his bias and his focus is in the spotlight, whether he physically appears or not. That he's run that Don Wells Family Official channel. It was his startup. Now he wants to get on the Michael Vaughan case, and he's trying to promote himself through this rather than the welfare of a missing child.
And I hate to tell Tim, but I know me myself, when I'm going through resumes and I'm interviewing people for jobs, if they did a real shit bang up job at the last one, I'm not going to consider them. So
Right.
any family that has a missing child right now, just go ahead and tell Tim, need not apply.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything with this case. You did
But
nothing.
it's not even an official job. What he says he does is media manager. What does that mean? Who is a media manager? What other media managers have you ever spoken to, known, heard of? I mean, the only media manager like Robert Maxwell, like Ghislaine Maxwell's father, well, he's definitely not in that standing, is he? What is a media manager and why is it needed? And how has he invented this job for himself? What is his job description? What are the terms and conditions? What's his holiday pay? You know, he's employed himself as a media manager. It doesn't mean anything.
It means nothing. He came up with the name.
Exactly.
He
It's like
titled
I might just set myself up as a YouTube expert and just charge people money to come to me for YouTube expertise. I know nothing about it. I don't even know what that job is or if that's even a job, but I'm just going to make it up and promote myself as that. You know, it don't make sense.
No, he made up his own position.
Right.
He offers his help, which is something he's never done before.
Exactly.
A fourth grader could have made that website. I'm sorry,
Oh,
guys.
yeah,
A fourth grader
absolutely.
could have made that website. And I hadn't even gotten to this yet. This was going to be my drum roll moment. That where Summer 800 TBI Fine stole it. I love it. You guys are the best. I love talking to you guys. At Brooks, did you all notice this letter has nothing about Grandis? Nothing about the grandmother. So the one heart that's not broken on the hill is Camper Queen.
Right.
Doesn't mention her.
Nope.
Dawn, Candace, the boys. Summer's heart's broken. Summer can't get an education. He can't drywall. Candace is unemployable. We mention everything and everybody, but Grandis. Well, isn't that odd? Did somebody maybe mention to him that Chris McDonough, his arch nemesis, did almost an entire show calling out his mother-in-law? You know that was music to his ears.
Yeah.
You know that was music to his ears. Then here comes the letter. There goes the camper. And we don't even mention that woman.
Nope. No, there was never any love lost between those two. Not even before Summer went missing, there was never any love lost between Don and Grandis.
But see, the thing is, he was weary of her because in the WJHL interview, the very first one with him and Rebel Queen, they're sitting outside talking, and he corrects her. Watch what you say. Your mother's listening.
Exactly.
He even referred to her. He said, she's the smartest one of us all.
Yeah.
Then this, McDonough has his sights on her doubles down, says we need to be looking more at her. Like I said, Camper Queen, she got the hell out of Dodge. He
Again.
does the letter, but this time she took the camper. We have the two hand on wheels. And now he puts this letter out. Not only does he need a job and he needs someone to do the right thing and bring his daughter back, he doesn't mention anything about the woman that was supposedly taking a nap when everything went down.
Exactly. Maybe that's who, when he said bring our daughter home, do you think maybe it was directed maybe at her?
Could have been at Grandis. Could have been at Grandis. Could have been at her. It's like that day that he was talking to WVLT and he's banging the hell out of the refrigerator and he went,
I don't know what she was doing.
I don't know what she was doing. He wasn't talking about Summer because he would have said Summer sometimes would hide in here and jump out at the boys or whatever. No. I think you're onto something. I think with timing is everything. Okay. It really is. So for this letter to come out, and it takes time for the letter to get through, the jail and everything. 2 weeks after McDonough says we need to start looking more at Grandis, he doesn't mention her. And then, like I said, Camper's gone.
Yep.
And anyone that says it was gone in May, unless she's been going back and forth with that piece of shit, I don't know. I do know our own subs saw it.
Yeah, I really doubt that she's been up and down with that camper, just purely because of what we was talking earlier about how difficult it is to get a 4-wheel drive up that hill, let alone a camper up and down the hill. You're not going to be dragging it up and down every couple of weeks. You're going to either have it there or have it off the property completely. It's not going to go back up and down. It wouldn't survive. It'd fall apart. And
that would have been seen and talked about.
Exactly.
That thing's a piece of shit. She's not going to keep dragging it up and down that hill. No, it's gone. And that means she's gone. We will probably never hear from Grandis again unless they haul her fat ass into court.
Yeah. And even then, we probably won't hear from her. She'll probably just choose to stay silent and not talk to anyone.
Yep. She'll just let her attorneys do the work.
She's already said that was the last time we see her. Like she just said goodbye to a piece of paper blown in the wind. Oh, that was the last time we saw her. That was the last time we saw her. She didn't care. She already said that.
You heard her. This was not anything that shook her to her core.
Nope.
All she could say was it's the not knowing that bothers her. Well, you know something. You know a little bit more than what you're putting out there.
You're right. And the only contact that she's had with the police is when the YouTubers decided to trespass on the property. I mean, that's a reason, isn't it? When your granddaughter and your daughter are missing, that you're not calling for updates, you're not cooperating. Well, I did speak to them when the trespassers came from YouTube. Oh, really? That's what matters to you. That's the most important thing to you.
Well, and if you look on the screen, the Sun, all right. Now, this is a UK tabloid.
Arsenal, like, wipe your bums with it here.
Much like the Daily Mail, I'm not saying they did anything, but they are known here in the U.S. It's always a big red flag when these cases go on if the Daily Mail or the Sun gets involved, because they pay for interviews, they pay for pictures, they pay for letters.
It's a huge red flag here too, Brooks. It really is. I mean, they're known as the kind of like. I use it for my cat litter tray. I let my cat shit all over it, to be fair. So
money well spent.
Absolutely.
So right here, the Sun, they're talking about it right here. Heartfelt words. Major Summer Wells update after missing Tennessee girl's father shares harrowing letter from jail to people who took her. July 19th. Did someone get money for this? I don't know. They pay for information. It is well known. They pay for information.
Do they pay the media manager for information, do you think?
I'd love to know.
Since the media manager was the one that released the letter, you would think the natural progression of that would be that the media manager was in contact with the Sun and the Daily Mail and these tabloid papers that pay him for the information.
because I could have shit and fell back in it after Monica Sherrard, in the case of Cash Gernon, let
Mhm.
the Daily Mail come in that trap house she was living in
Right.
and readily admitted that, yes, she was paid.
Mhm.
She was paid.
Oh, they pay. Yeah, they pay.
So, I mean, it's right here. They have it on their website.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, please do the right thing and turn our daughter over to the authorities, he wrote in the letter, which was obtained by the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Was obtained by the Sun. We're begging
I mean,
you.
there is a possibility. There is a possibility that they just went on the Don Wells family official and took the letter straight off of there without having to pay anyone, because it was put in the public domain. If it was only sent to them and it was an exclusive, I'm sure they would have paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah, that could be it. And I'm saying right now, I have no idea if any money exchanged hands for this. No idea.
No,
I
don't
also
either.
am saying that Tim does not want this train to stop. The Sun does pay for information. They could have had this letter way before it was put on the website.
Right. But I would have thought, I don't really want to get into the morals of the Sun and all of that, but I would have thought that if they'd had that letter and they paid for it before it was put out on the website, they would have called it an exclusive, and they would have paid a lot of money for it. The fact that it was put in the public domain and then they published this article suggests to me that they took it straight off of the Don Wells family official site, the same as we all did. That's just what it suggests to me.
You're saying. Okay. And like I said, I don't know that any money was exchanged at all.
No.
Absolutely no idea. But this is an old case.
Mm-hmm.
This is an old case. I'm sorry. I'm not saying old to me. I'm not saying old to any of you guys. This is 13 months later. Why would the Sun grab it with all the other headlines in the United States right now? Why would the Sun in the UK grab it with all the other headlines right now? And they write this.
Yeah.
Heartfelt words. Major Summer Wells update after missing Tennessee girl's father shares harrowing letter from jail to the people that took her.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it has been in the Sun before, in the UK as well as the US, obviously. But I wouldn't mind that they're not following it religiously like, people in the US are. They're not, looking in the papers every day or looking online every day to find updates. This probably was brought to their attention before they got hold of it. They didn't just stumble across it one day and go, oh my God, we have to do this update. This would have been brought to their attention. Right.
Yeah, I think it was brought to their attention, definitely. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really do. Like I said, I don't know if any money was exchanged or not. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm going to say. This sticks out at me right now where Dawn says, you see, the public blames us. I can see if you're innocent, how that would be so frustrating. It's like, get the hell out of my way. Let's talk about what happened to my child. If they deflected from the details of June 15th to play pity party, see, they blame us. Well, make us not blame you.
Right, exactly.
Make
Do
us
everything within your power. Make us believe you're innocent. I mean, I've said all the way along, I've never seen them act like innocent people. That doesn't mean they're not innocent. It's just that they don't behave like innocent people. What innocent people need to phone up their stepsister in the middle of the night and go, Donnie's been arrested, they're taking him to Boston. I mean, all of this stuff is ridiculous. It's not the behavior of people that are innocently trying to fight for their daughter to come home. I'm sorry. It doesn't. It just doesn't to me.
No, I think we got to revisit that phone call pretty soon too.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, actually, I'm going to put the link up real quick, see if anybody wants to come up and tell us what's been going on. I missed you guys last week.
I missed you, Brooks.
I checked quite a bit, like, Facebook. Oh, by the way, if anybody's concerned about Shark Week and the amount of love that Jody Poo does not get during that week, we are extensively covering Shark Week in the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group. So.
Hilarious. Yeah, Shark Week is always a good one with Jody Sue, isn't it?
Where's Summer? 800 TBI Fine said, I believe Chris M is playing this perfectly. I don't have a problem with what he's doing. There's some stuff I'm like, that doesn't really make sense or whatever. But he was the first one to go there. And without Chris McDonough's interviews, we would have never known about the dungeon. We probably would have never heard from Hunter in that capacity. Nobody else would have pinned him down on things like, just everything that went on during the day.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Brooks. Like I've said on my own channel that there's certain things that get in my craw about, things that the way that Chris McDonough's gone about certain things or done certain things. But you know what? Probably with the exception of you and Emma, there's YouTubers all over YouTube that have got in my craw about one thing or another. It doesn't necessarily dismiss everything else they say and do just because you get wound up about a couple of things. It's not, I don't tend to judge people like that. I just kind of think, well, everyone has their flaws and their faults, don't they? No one's perfect.
We don't expect anyone to be perfect. And any time someone presents themselves as the perfect family, that's my red flag.
Right, exactly.
Like, oh, come on. Come on. We got Alexandra backstage. Long time no see, Alexandra. Beautiful as always. How are you today?
Hello, my friend.
Hey.
How are you? How is the heat wave over in the UK?
Oh, it's over.
I'm getting browner.
You're definitely brown. Have you been away, or is this just from this country? Because it's not that sunny now.
No, this is just, I get it quickly. Kat, it is so lovely. And hello, Brooks. Hello, everyone in chat. I am so happy, Brooks, to see you back on the Summer Wells case. I know it was getting to you earlier on in the year, and you said, that's it, I'm done. And you were taking your little cat for a walk in his little pushchair. I love those Sunday afternoon walks. They're so brilliant. But it's brilliant also to see you back on the Summer Wells case. I've got my views. They're changing. They're moving parts, as you can imagine. But
to clarify real quick, I never got away from the Summer Wells case. There's been some weeks where I had to give my attention to other cases.
I think she was talking about me.
Yeah, that was. You're quite right. As usual, Kat, you on the ball.
I think she was talking about me. There was a point where I said I was done with the Summer Wells case. But then
we've all said we're done. Trust me.
I think we've all been there.
If you're a creator that hasn't said, forget it, I'm done, well, come talk to me because I want to know your secret.
Right. It takes a lot of
anyway, I just wanted to say I'm so glad, Kat, that you're back on the case. I've got my views. I'm not quite sure if this is something to do with like it's like a case of who shot JR back in the 80s.
Yes.
And now it's gone to YouTube. It's like, who shot JR? Let's see which YouTube creator can come up with the best plan of who abducted Summer.
Yeah, I do think it's got as many conspiracy theories at least.
But I will never, ever, ever condemn. I will never say to anyone, "Oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist," because I'm one, and I love anyone who will say to me, "I'm a conspiracy theorist." Great, that means you're using your brain. Means
you're thinking.
I'm not asleep. Sorry, what did you say, lovely?
Said it means you're thinking. Now, some of the theories that are brought to me, I'm just like, not today, Satin. That is way too wild.
Sure.
I think there's enough rabbit holes. I think it was one of the things that wore me out with the case earlier on in the year was the fact that there was just so many rabbit holes and there was so many things that were just so off the wall that I just didn't have enough time in my life to even consider it. I don't massively do conspiracy theories, but I do like to think widely about things, I guess.
Exactly, Kat, and I get where you're coming from, but when you think outside the box, you're automatically deemed a conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, hang on a minute, just because I've got a brain and I don't go bah, or like a nodding dog in the back seat of someone's bloody 1930s car, I'm like, oh, so I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Okay, that's
Oh,
because
I see what you mean. Okay.
I
No, I see what you mean. I just, I'm talking about, you know, real off the wall stuff. Like if an eagle must have swooped down in front of Candace and lifted Summer away and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about just thinking outside the box. I'm talking about thinking outside the neighborhood, like literally. And yeah, no, you know, that's what we've done every day here, really. It's just like consider different options, talk about theories and opinions and facts.
absolutely.
And yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, my money, and I remember Chris McDonough saying, I haven't left the house. When he first said that, I thought, that's a really good thing to say, actually. And it made me think, he didn't quite elaborate, but he's a copper, you know, and he's got his own views and he's got his own ideas and his own technology and wordology. And I thought, do you know what? He's probably not wrong. Don't leave the house. And if you do leave the house, don't go very far. And I think that's the reason why. If Summer, and I've got two theories. One is that this is all a Who Shot JR, it's like a bloody soap opera, or it's real. And if it's real, I think the whole thing has got something to do with it. Everyone on that hill, everyone in that holler, the cars, everything matches up. But there's too many things that make me think, not quite sure. I don't know. I'm still my jury. I think I'm going to be out for the next 10 years, probably. I've been out for the next, for the last 14 years with the Madeleine McCann case. I'm still on that one, like Sonic.
My worry with this case is, and I do believe it's going to be solved, is that there's been so many I'm just going to say it, insane ideas. I'm a very simple person. I believe I'm with Chris McDonough. Okay, I am. I agree with what he says, and many other people, that something from that house, the people in it, the people that surround them, led up to June 15th, and something very, very bad happened that day. What I do worry about, it's kind of like the Chris Watts case in a way, that I'm not comparing the two cases. Hang with me.
No.
Is that when the judge makes the decision, the jury gives their decision, that people will not accept it because they are 100%, no, she was trafficked. She was sold. No, the church had something to do with it. No, it has to be Andy and Jody Sue, that they're not going to accept it. And it's going to not give this little girl the rest and the peace that she deserves.
Yeah. That is my concern. And this is why I've started to think, what is going on here? We've all used the terminology, we're being led down a rabbit hole. I think there are too many people on that hill that have too much knowledge. Jody Sue, for one. Okay, I don't like the woman. I didn't like her the minute I clapped eyes on her on that news. I never knew her. I don't go on social media like Facebook. I can't bother. I don't even know actually how it works. But I've got an account, but I don't use it. But when I saw her on that news, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that's just what we did," and there was it, and she was talking rather eloquently. And then suddenly she goes on YouTube, or not YouTube, well, yes, YouTube, but her own Facebook, and she's, I can't speak properly because I've got a voice impediment because I've got cancer. And smoking a bag. I've got throat cancer. I'm thinking, you're doing yourself no favours. Why don't you just fuck the fuck off? Sorry, I just really don't like the woman. And the more I listen to that bint, B-I-N-T, I think you've got more to do with this than you actually admit.
Well, then I also think about when Candace was in, I don't mean rare form as in drunk. I mean, Candace was in rare form as in sober. She was sober one day, and I cannot remember, and I'm dying to find it because she slipped. She was basically talking about how she didn't really like the way that the TBI was talking to her. She didn't like that they said to her, we know you left 2 more times that day. They weren't
Yeah.
talking about from Hunter's house. They weren't talking about from the pond. They were talking about Ben Hill Road. We know you
Yep.
left 2 more times. You can't
Yep.
get away from that. You can't get away from that. Why would she need to leave 2 more times?
Well, in my opinion, and I've listened to certain, creators, and I've listened to you as well, and the fact that I think we're pretty much 100% certain that Grandis didn't have an appointment at the hospital that day. It was like, oh, well, I'm a bit, well, hang on a minute. Look, I'm 61, okay? I don't have any health problems. I'm really quite lucky in that respect, touch wood. But if I had a health problem or a knee problem, any problem, and I was living on my son's property, and I said, oh, I need to go to the hospital, oh, my leg's playing up this evening, I'm sure my son would say to me, Mum, need to get you to the hospital, get up tomorrow. Tell you, the timeline in that 7:30 or 6:30, 7:30 time frame AM doesn't add up. How can Don say, oh, when I got up, I was, Candice was asleep and the baby was in between the two of us, and I had to move her leg out from underneath my bra, and off he went. Well, you've got an 8 o'clock appointment. But it wasn't an appointment, but they had to, now we're led to believe it wasn't an appointment. It was just like a random, let's get there early because of COVID. We might get there in quick time and be seen in double quick time. Nothing makes sense in that hospital visit. None of it. None of it, none of it, none of it.
She wouldn't have only been there for an hour either. She would have been there nearly all day waiting for an ER to see her about that knee.
And that's the thing. You can't doubt the people that are right there. Now, I don't mean the people that live on Ben Hill Road or the lovely couple from across the street. But when we're talking about the locals that are, in this chat right now, when she came out, Grandis, at the beginning of March, after she got called out by the sheriff, and she says that Candice was concerned about her knee, so they went to the ER.
Yep.
Boom. My inbox erupted with people saying, I've been to that hospital. No way was she in and out that fast. No way. No. And this is when COVID was going on. She was there at least 4, 5, 6, 7 hours.
Absolutely. Now, you're a big country, and Kat, you live near me in a small country. We are a tiny little island. Okay, we got loads of hospitals, but at the end of the day, I don't ring the doctor, like I say, touch words, and I'm touching my stair frame at the moment. That's my baluster. I don't need it. I can't remember the last time I went to the doctor. I don't have any ailments, but if I needed a doctor, I know in this country, which is only tiny, that I would have to go, I'd have to have a face-to-face or something. From my friends are telling me, you have to have a face-to-face. Then you might be lucky if you get put on a schedule for an appointment, and it might be in 3 months' time. Fucking hell, you might be dead by then. Hang on.
Well, you can't get appointments in A&E in this country either. You have to sit and wait, and it can be a minimum of 4 hours wait any time of day or any day of the week. So 4 hours is a short time to wait.
Exactly, Kat, and that is what I'm saying, is that in a tiny little country like ours compared to America, if I took you to the A&E tomorrow and I've got a bad knee, we'd be sitting there for like
hours.
Well, look, yeah, exactly. I know that last year, out of COVID, my son had a really serious foot injury. I won't go into the details, but he ended up jumping out of a woman's bedroom window, sort of like caught red-handed by the boyfriend home, and tried to kid me that he broke his foot by jumping over his back fence, which is only 6 feet high. And I was like, hang on a moment, you're 5'11". I don't think so. Tell me the truth. And so, yeah. But then he said to me, can you take me to hospital? I mean, no. Not because I know what you did. I've got no sympathy, but every sympathy. But I was like, hang on a minute. No, I'm not taking you to hospital because it's going to take me an hour to get to your house from mine, to drive you to hospital. Then I've got to major park up, pay a load of money to pay for the parking. I might anticipate 6 hours. That's £1 an hour. £6. Yeah, no thanks. Who's going to pay me back? No, I went, call an ambulance. He went, oh, it's going to take 6 hours. I went, yes, it will. Maybe that'll make you think twice. I know people are thinking I'm a horrible mother.
Well, and the thing is, in this, I can't speak about other countries, but if I went with a twisted ankle right now, or if I had done something to my knee or my shoulder, that wouldn't be considered an emergency. They
Absolutely
would get to people with chest pains, having babies, gunshot. That they're going to assess them first, and they're like, "Look, ice it. We'll be back when we can." So she sat there quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Longer than the period of time that they tried to make out. Oh, we picked her up, took her to get a prescription, went to Walgreens, we went to the
It didn't happen.
She wasn't there with them. She wasn't there with them.
I think, well, if it happened, if that day happened, I think that Candace said to her mother, or Grandis said, oh, I've got some knee pain the night before. She said, I'll take you to the hospital in the morning. And if they woke up, she probably said, oh, get in the car, moaning, oh, get in the bloody car, drive you down there. I'd probably feel the same about my elderly mother. I would go, for God's sake, I'd drive you down there and I'd open the door and kick her out and go, get in there to the reception. And oh, she's got a knee injury. I'll go and park up. Drive out the car park, drive home, leave you to it.
And you go pick her up like 8 hours later when she was ready. You'd go and pick her up, not at 3 o'clock that afternoon or even 12 o'clock or 5 o'clock. She'd been there all day.
Absolutely, Kat. Certainly not at 12 o'clock. She probably said, oh, for Christ's sake, if you're that much in pain, I'll drive you to the hospital, get in the car. Probably Summer was up and went, oh, can I come? She went, oh, if you must. The boys were sound asleep. I'll leave them there. I don't believe they locked the door because it's the type of property. Look, I live in a rural area, but I live also where there's lots of people around, but I walk out. If I drive in my car, I will leave my back door open, literally wide open, get in the car, drive down to Tesco, get a pint of milk, drive home, and the door is still wide, and my house hasn't been pilfered. And I'm thinking, shit, I could have literally done with somebody coming in and having a clear out for me. For God's sake, somebody come and steal my stuff.
Well, and you bring up an interesting point. So they leave the 3 boys there. We can forget about all the other stuff Candace said, that they were at work with Dawn and stuff like that. They were there. So they leave with Summer. So, okay, so they're there by themselves. Yet the abductor comes up on the property when everyone is home, meaning the 2 adults still in the middle of the day. I mean, it's broad daylight. They had an opportunity to grab one of the boys that day if it was for some kind of drug debt or something like that. They were there alone, unsupervised.
Right.
Why would you wait for the adults to be back home before you do your getting even or whatever?
Makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever because it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
Well, it didn't happen the way they said it happened. I mean, Summer went missing on June 15th. It just didn't all go down the way they said it all went down. And we know it didn't because they changed the story so many times since June 15th.
It changed the story, and the TBI has said that's not how it went down. We need more information. We need credible tips. They're not asking for credible tips 13 months later because they have nothing else to do. They need them. Well, the people that can give them credible tips are Camper Queen and her daughter.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%. If it happened the way that we're supposed or we're led to believe it happened on the 15th, And I'm not altogether sure that I buy that it happened on the 15th or at all.
What do you mean
That's
that you
the
don't
thing.
believe it happened at all? Because Summer's missing. She's been missing for nearly 14 months. So why do you think
But has
it didn't happen at all?
But has she? Has she? Has she? Is she?
Well,
Where's the proof?
Where's the proof?
Where's the proof that she's missing? Where is the proof that Summer Wells is actually missing? That the boys
The proof
were
is
actually in.
the proof is the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has told us for over 13 months she is gone. She is missing.
Okay.
We have had searches after searches after searches after searches. We have gone back to Congress to get more money for searches, to use specialized equipment. They have never changed the 15th. They want information from the 15th. Lawson made that off the cuff comment. Why don't you ask her, meaning Candace, why she waited so long to call 911? There's an open investigation, a criminal investigation. They even upped it from endangered to an Amber Alert. She is in serious danger. She's nowhere to be found. She's nowhere to be found. She is missing. That is a certainty. She is missing. She's not being hidden in the house. She's not with a rich lady. She's not with Sonia, Don's sister. They tried to put that out there one time. But I
heard that. I heard that. Yeah.
I just think it's interesting because I think that's the only one thing that I've definitely found is a complete fact all the way through. And it's the only one fact is that Summer's not there anymore. Summer is gone. Everything else around it, everything we've heard from, especially from Don, Candace and Grandis and the neighbors and everyone else, is conjecture pretty much. It's their version of the day or their version of the story. But the one fact that remains solid is that Summer's not there no more. Summer's gone.
Exactly as Kat says, it's their version. It's not clarified. I mean, who's clarified their version? No one has clarified the version of events. Not even the timeline has been clarified.
No,
But
and that will
Summer is
never
gone.
happen. And that will never happen. They will solve it, but it's not going to be based on what they have been told by the parties involved.
Right. And it's not going to be based on what we've been told by the parties involved either.
She can't tell us the truth. Candace cannot tell us the truth because it implicates her. She knows that.
Hold on a moment. Don't be quite so harsh. Brooks, she couldn't lie. It's not in her metabolism.
I know.
Touche.
Hey, break.
They're running around the morning of the 15th. See, like I look at the Harmony Montgomery case, and they adjusted the timeline a couple of times, and I believe that had to do with eyewitnesses actually seeing Harmony, and they've done it in other cases. We're going to talk about another one, not today. But they have never, ever gone away from June 15th. I believe somebody, with all their running around that morning, did lay eyes on Summer. She has been seen on CCTV.
She's got to be on. She's got to be seen on CCTV.
That's the reason they are right there. They are focused. They have been laser focused on June 15th all this time.
Yep. Yeah. I believe if it was a different date, then by now the official people would have said, well, we're actually looking for information from the 14th, or we're looking for information from the 16th or the 13th. Or they've always only ever said the 15th. So it has to be the 15th, because otherwise there would have been an official announcement asking for information from different dates.
Sure. Well, I hope we can get to the bottom of it. If it's not a new idea for YouTube to come up with another series or soap opera equivalent to the Who Shot JR, I hope it's not real. I hope that this is just a hoax. I really hope it's a hoax and that there is not some beautiful little baby girl out there who has gone missing. I really hope it's that. And that's maybe maybe I've come to this sort of like idea of thinking that, oh, fuck off everybody. This is just a fucking hoax and we're all being hoodwinked, because I am shit scared that this darling little baby is actually in peril. And that's, can you get that? Do you understand that?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I think that's one thing I think we can put our minds at ease about, because there's too many government agencies involved. And
yeah, but don't forget though, and Kat, you'll understand this, there were too many government agencies involved in the Madeleine McCann case. Far too many to be comfortable. You know that if you followed it, you understand it. I don't know if you have, Brooks, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful to you in any way, shape, or form. But I followed the Madeleine McCann case.
I have followed it. Yeah, I followed it, and I understand what you're saying. But I think in that case, it's completely different in terms of the Portuguese investigation was bodged from day one. They bodged that investigation.
It wasn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
All right, we're getting way off topic.
Yeah, we are. Kat and I will talk about that another time, lovely.
She has not been seen since then. They have said over and over it was a botched investigation from the beginning. You know, this is totally different. 911 was called. They descended upon the hill. We've heard the 911. They got there. They immediately started looking around. The lead detective has said, I don't think she's too far away, which is why they keep searching in the same area. What I'm trying to figure out is, what was the sequence of events that led up to the afternoon of the 15th? I go back to Candace's temper and her history of how she treats her own children. What led up to the early afternoon of June 15th? And why is no one saying anything unless they're involved? Mm-hmm. Why are we?
Well, do you know, Brooks, I've listened to you for over a year, since the 16th of June last year. And every day I've listened to you. Every time you broadcast, I listen. I might not be on live, but I listen to you every catch up that I can. Every single item I've listen to everything of yours, and I love the fact that you've got a focus, and that is, and a lot of people don't. I mean, okay, people do, a lot of creators do go, oh, what happened here, and they go off at times, but you are very focused, and I love the way that you, and I hate the way that people go, oh, she's just a replay queen. Well, no, hang on a minute. If you don't listen to it again and again and again, you're gonna miss something.
Oh, we love our replay queen. I have to say, I don't think I'd love this channel quite as much if we didn't have our replay queen. I agree with you. I think going back to the beginning and listening to it again.
Replay it. And I've listened. I every company I've worked for, okay, and even the company I still work for, we still record calls. And I've got a very good memory, and I can say to my children, they go, oh, you said this, and I go, actually, no, I didn't say that. What I said was this. And they go, oh yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah, you're right, you did. And I do love the fact that Brooks does a replay. I think she's absolutely amazing.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. But I mean, they've told us what they know. They're not going to tell us everything, and they would be really stupid if they did.
Yeah.
It would be really stupid if they did. But if you listen to the press conferences from the TBI, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, the 19th, you listen to the actual interviews. I'm not talking about the drunken stupors on YouTube that Don and Grandis has given. There's a lot in there, but they're not going to tell us. They're just not going to put the perpetrators' minds at ease by saying, well, we're on to you, for them to go the other way.
Yeah, they want us to look over there. Don't look over here. Nothing to see here. It's all over there. It's all on that hill. It starts and it ends on that hill.
Oh, it certainly does. And I think the downfall started back in the fall of 2020. I think things were unraveling very fast.
Mhm.
And something led up to the 15th. So, well, guys, I hate to cut anybody short, but I have got to go.
I'm grateful for allowing me on the show. Thank you so much. Love you, Kat. Love you, Brooks.
So good to catch up with you. Anytime, grab the link. Love talking to you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye, beautiful.
Bye.
All right, Kat is muted. I didn't even realize what time it was. Hey, time flies. I don't mean to sound like Candace saying time flies when you're having fun, but between all of us, we do have fun. We do like to talk to each other and try to make some sense out of what is absolutely ridiculous. And that is the case that Dawn and Candace and Grandis have created here. They have created every bit of this. Every
I
bit
agree.
of this.
I'm back just to say goodbye.
You look at the news, the breaking news on WJHL or any of like the local affiliates, Hawkins County, they're busting people left and right. They're arresting people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason in this case they're having a problem. And it lies with, well, the lady that just drug a camper away, her daughter who has nothing to say anymore. She's just gone. And the poet laureate that wrote a harrowing letter from jail in the last couple weeks.
Yep, I agree.
No. Kat, always an honor to have you up here. I just love your take on this case and, your common sense approach.
Thank you. I'll be back tomorrow and I'll see you guys in Discord. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Be talking to you in about 5 seconds.
Okay, cool. Speaking a bit.
Speaking of Discord, if you guys want to talk in between shows, send me an email. It's cll72020@gmail.com. And I'll get you a link. Come in and just chat with us in between shows. It's not just about cases. We talk about everything from food, vacations, bitching about the weather, things going on in our own lives, whatever it is. So it's not just about cases. So don't be shy. We don't bite. Come on over into Discord. Of course, the Facebook group, Crime Lines and Lies on Facebook. We talk about everything under the sun. Like I said, we're talking a lot about Shark Week this week. So you guys are the best. I'll see you back here tomorrow. I do have an appointment tomorrow morning, so it's going to be a little later in the afternoon. Hit that bell, get your notification. That way we don't miss each other. So glad everyone is back together and doing our morning chat and getting all of this off our chest. Again, I will see you guys back here tomorrow. You guys are the best chat and best community on YouTube. Never forget it, because I certainly won't. Have a good one. Bye-bye.